All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another week of Schmack Talk. Today, we're going to be talking about some developing stories within week 3 and week 4 of the NFL and college football. We're going to be hitting home with the Buckeyes a little bit tonight. So, without any further ado, I'm Pat with my co-host Nick.
I would just like to apologize in advance if you hear a squeaky toy. My dog is currently sitting next to me and has her favorite ball. So if you hear that at any point, I apologize in advance. Hopefully that brings you a little smile to your day.
Headphone users, beware.
Yeah, for real. But like Pat said, we're gonna be hitting football hard for this one, focusing on weeks 3 and 4, developing stories throughout there for college football, and then weeks 2 and 3, mainly week 3 for the NFL, because if you guys pay attention, week 2 was pretty boring for the NFL. So we'll go ahead and we'll start recapping week 3 real quick of college football. Some interesting stories, some scares. Okay. Wait, okay, Alabama almost blew a lead, but they didn't, okay?
So I was very upset that they did not blow that lead.
I love Saban. I was like, how pissed he was. But okay, if we're being honest, if we were Bama fans, we'd be pretty upset too, right?
Oh, I would be livid.
It's 21-0 after the first quarter. And didn't they win by 3? Isn't that what happened?
3 or 4, I think. But I was like, oh my God, Bama's down. Bama's down. We got a big boy down. It's time to go for the kill. We
couldn't be lucky, okay? We're not that lucky, okay? They're going to survive. They're like Notre Dame, okay?
Yeah, no. And plus, even if they did lose, they'd probably still get in to the playoffs. Let's be honest. It's Alabama.
Yeah. Well, it's just if whether people want to admit it or not, if Ohio State wins out, Ohio State's going to get in. It's probably that brand. It's if Alabama has one loss,
because Iowa's still undefeated. And
but if Ohio State wins out, then theoretically they beat Iowa in the championship game. So you have a one-loss champion versus a one-loss non-champion.
That's true.
And they say champions are so much more important. So by the committee's rule, Ohio State in that scenario should get in. But who knows?
But we got Penn State still undefeated.
Oh, it's still early.
It is early. Yeah, and granted, we're starting to get into the more thick end of the schedule where you're going to see a lot more competition between schools. You're not going to see any throwaway games or as many.
No, it's conference now. You know, week 4 is done, which means everyone got their 3 non-conference games in, unless SEC still has 1 non-conference because they always play 8 conference games instead of 9. I loved last year when they did 9. I thought that was amazing. Okay, that was fantastic competition. I think they should always go to that. Hopefully with Texas and Oklahoma, they do go to that. Speaking of Texas, good Lord, I think they want to rethink.
They need to. They really need to.
I can't get over the loss to Arkansas, and it makes it so much better for those of you who don't know that Arkansas just upset Texas A&M in week 4. Mm-hmm. So I was shown a TikTok the other day, and it was making fun of how Arkansas is claiming East Texas as West Arkansas because they own the Texas teams, which is fantastic.
That's great.
But part of me is this is fantastic. I can get behind Arkansas randomly being good, but then at the same time, part of me is that good? That Arkansas? That's if Maryland's in the top 10 randomly. That's great, but is it?
I'm just really thinking Arkansas, I don't know. That's just one of those teams where it's they're either you don't hear about them all season, or it's Arkansas is coming in hot this year.
Typically, it was the whole, you hear about Arkansas the same way that you hear about Rutgers. Like, for how many years has it been like, oh, just throw
True.
Rutgers and Arkansas against each other and see who wins? Like, that determines the better
Basically,
conference.
yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's just they came out hot. Texas and Texas A&M are overrated. Now, I will note that Texas A&M doesn't have a quarterback.
Overrated. Texas
Texas is overrated. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think
A&M
we
doesn't have a quarterback.
That's true.
And so, like, part of me is like, you beat A&M by either 7 or 10, but they don't have a quarterback. So I'm not fully on board with Arkansas.
But I also I think it might be one of those 1 year things where it's just like it's gonna happen this year, and then like next year it's gonna be like, oh, the Razorbacks are 0-5, having a tough start to the season this year after last season's like undefeated season. Because
pull a little Northwestern.
Oh wait, when they had that one season where it was like, wait, no, what team is that? Western? Who's that?
Yeah.
I've never heard of these guys.
Like, we kind of make fun of Northwestern, but then again, if you look at it in the last 3 years, they've been in the Big Ten championship game twice.
Yeah.
But that's the whole, like, it's year to year. You know, that's what we're pointing out is Arkansas going to become this, once in every 3 years they're good.
I think if they can follow up, like even just right now, just being a 4-0 team, I think that it's like great for them. But, you know, we're getting into the heavy hitters of the season. So
let's just note they haven't played Auburn. Okay. I don't think Auburn is as good as Auburn normally is, but they haven't played Auburn.
It's down.
They haven't played LSU. LSU's down, but they haven't played LSU.
I retract statements about my top 4 teams from like week 2. I just want to say that right now. I actually looked into what's going on in the sports, you know.
But like they haven't played Auburn, they haven't played LSU, they haven't played like Mississippi State, and they haven't played Ole Miss, who I'm loving to see the Rebels back and good.
They're looking good too.
Yeah, so they got Bama this coming week, I'm pretty sure.
All right.
So little Ole Miss magic.
After last week, hear me out. Ole Miss hits
SEC champs.
Yes. Well, not necessarily SEC champs, but overtake the Tide in a fourth quarter victory. Next, like
so kind of like what they did like 3 years ago. It was like 3 or 4 years ago where they beat them by like with the what was it? It was like the interception, but it went off a helmet, and then the Ole Miss guy caught it, and there's nobody there, and he's like, "Oh my god,
what do I do? Okay, I'm running.
I'm running." Yeah. So,
but I don't know. Okay, I'm just looking at Arkansas's schedule right now.
Oh Lord,
we got Georgia next week.
Okay, we're done.
That's number 2. But after if they take on Georgia, beat Georgia, then they got Mississippi, Auburn, which I think they could easily beat.
Hold up. You're just telling me that their next 3 is Georgia, Ole Miss, and Auburn?
Yeah.
There's no way they're coming out with that undefeated. There's no way.
I don't think they're coming out undefeated. No. Georgia is probably going to be a loss. I'm going to that'll
Ole Miss will probably be a loss.
I don't know. Ole Miss is a 12 seed with an 8 seed. I think it depends on how Ole Miss does against Bama. Just because if Bama just destroys them, they're either going to be like, all right, we got to make up after last week. That was just sad. Or it's going to just hurt them so much that they're just going to be off and they're going to lose. They're going to make a lot of stupid mistakes. But based on Ole Miss in the past, more than likely, if they lose to Alabama, they're going to come back and destroy Arkansas.
Yeah, but also you can't look too much into the rankings right now.
Yeah,
because the only reason why Arkansas is up at number 8 is because they beat Texas by 20.
Yeah,
they shocked Texas when Texas was ranked, and then they followed it up with a win over Texas A&M, who, again, they don't have a quarterback right now.
Yeah.
Their quarterback's injured. So those 2 wins are why the AP pollers are like, oh, yeah, let's put them in the top 10. So I think – but if you're telling me their next 3 weeks are Georgia, Ole Miss, and Auburn,
if they
We're
come
gonna
out,
see what they're made of.
they're if Arkansas wins the next three,
Then I'm stamping them
then
as SEC champs. They're gonna beat
yeah,
Bama.
they're going to be
Like,
Bama. But
if they win those 3 games,
I
yeah.
don't think that's going to happen. I see Auburn as probably going to be a victory, unless if Auburn's just like gets kicked in the ass and they're like, "Let's go." But I don't see that happening.
It's
I
just
just feel like
Bo Nix is not developed into the quarterback that they need, and they're too one-dimensional.
yeah, very very much so dimensional. But Mississippi, like I was saying, if Bama rocks their shit, then Arkansas is taking a loss. If Mississippi beats Bama, Arkansas is taking a bigger loss.
It depends on the win though. Like if they destroy Bama, I think they have. Which let's be honest, I don't see that happening.
2%, I think.
Yeah, but like if they were to beat them by like 3 touchdowns, then that is their confidence is all the way up here.
Yeah,
and nobody's touching them.
Yeah, it's almost like like Alabama would be passing the we have swagger torch to Ole Miss, and then they'd just be like, "All right, we're the new top dogs. All right, like first time in the championship, it's ours. Cool. You know, like."
Okay, but who do they have after Auburn? So
after Auburn, though, it goes to AR Pine Bluff.
Oh Lord, Arkansas Pine Bluff. Okay,
Yeah.
So a little FCS action.
Yeah, that'll be a blowout right there. Mississippi State, which I think they could definitely pull off, unless the Mississippi State has a random upset that they always seem to have every season.
Yeah, they're just weird.
I don't think that'll happen.
No.
And then they got LSU.
Who knows?
I don't know. At that point, it's hard to say because I mean I don't even know what LSU is ranking or like what their season's looking like right now.
Not good.
Oh, yikes!
Yeah, not good.
Yikes!
So who's the other SEC East team that Arkansas has to play?
Oh wait, back one more. It's gonna be Bama.
Bama's in the West.
Or Missouri?
Yeah, Missouri. Missouri's in the stupid freaking East, and they're one of the most West teams in the conference.
Yeah. I was like, wait, Missouri's more West though, so like, right?
Yeah, no, it's Missouri. Missouri has very quickly. Okay, no, I shouldn't say that. Vanderbilt is the worst team, but Missouri has very quickly become the second worst team in the SEC.
Like, I don't think that'll be a problem. I think Arkansas is basically, if they can win the next 3 games, they're going to the championship.
They're sitting pretty.
Very nice. But
I just don't see that happening.
Yeah.
The next 3 games, they're coming out with 2 L's.
Yeah, I'd say 1 for sure win with Auburn. Other than that,
see, I wouldn't even say it's a for sure win against Auburn.
No, and even there, it's really not a for sure win because I feel like Auburn, like, yeah, their season's not that great this year, but they're also like not a team that I feel like you can just like be like, we'll play at 80% today and we'll still get the win, you know?
Yeah, for sure. With that being said, I would say if Arkansas goes 3-0 in the next 3 weeks, I will buy one of those damn hog heads. Okay, I will buy one of those because I'm that confident and I'm not wasting money because they're gonna lose at least one of those games.
Yeah,
if they don't lose them, then they're legit.
And even with Auburn, though, their only loss right now is with Penn State, who is also number 4, and it was by 8 points. So,
see, that's like, I'm glad we're bringing up these top 10 right now. I really think the AP poll is like freaking out. I think they're freaking out because like Bama's the only one that you can hang your hat on. And even that 1 week, like we talked about, like against Florida, they looked like Clemson, Ohio State, where it was like, is this Alabama? Like,
yeah, honey, sure? It's Alabama. I don't know what's going on.
But I think the poll is freaking out. It's not like they're licking their chops at the fact that Oregon, someone from the Pac-12, is good again. Okay,
Yeah, no, 'cause that
they're
messes up
loving
every-
that. Yeah, but they are freaking out with Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Clemson, in all honesty, looking like dog shit. In comparison to what the standard is for those three teams,
They're
all
looking
three of
pretty
them,
bad.
like Oklahoma has escaped every single game so far. They should have lost this past weekend to West Virginia.
Isn't their biggest win like 14 points or something like that? It's like
And for
very
a team
low.
that like boasts about scoring 60 points, I'm pretty sure their average point per game is 20.
Yeah.
Like, no
Their
offense, you're in the Big
offense is
12.
like-
You need to score more than 20 points.
Yeah. Big 12 is going to be more like I always think of like a quick offense that's quick to score, and your defense is like it's all right with putting up points, but because you have that offense that's putting up 60 to 80 points a game, but if
Yeah.
you're not getting that offense production, then like your defense has got a lot of stress on their shoulders, and that can lead to a
Yeah.
lot of more problems.
Well, and they're just lucky that they haven't played any like fantastic teams.
Yeah, no, they're
mean, that's
definitely
the
knocking on
truth.
wood. Like so far, like I don't see them.
'Cause, see, that's the issue. Like Oklahoma hasn't. I don't see Oklahoma making it.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't.
They're gonna lose. They're gonna lose one of these games. They're gonna lose because they just look like awful. But they've had the benefit of they haven't played any ranked team yet. I mean,
Yeah, I
Clemson
think
and Ohio State.
it's game over.
Yeah. Clemson and Ohio State, as we have covered and we will cover again, we will discuss this here shortly. They've looked awful. They have not looked up to the standard, and they've been exposed by ranked teams. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Clemson had Georgia, and in all honesty, Georgia didn't look great in that game. Okay, I'm still waiting to see Georgia again. See, I'm glad you brought up Arkansas though, because I'm going to watch that game now. I'm going to see, is Georgia finally awake? Because oh yeah, they have two blowouts. Oh, one's against an FCS team and one's against Vanderbilt. Like, let's be real.
Vanderbilt might as well be in the FCS. Like,
So like, Georgia's number 2 because they're Georgia. Okay, and they beat Clemson. But that win against Clemson, that 10-3 victory where your defense scored the touchdown.
yeah,
Like,
that's
Clemson's defense is not that good.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's. I don't know.
Like,
when Trevor was there, like you would see more like offensive numbers. You would see like
Mhm.
I feel like you were seeing like 40 points a game on average, just because
Well, and
their
for
offense was so explosive. But now, I don't. There, it's not there. Like they
No,
don't
not
have
at
that
all.
explosive quarterback anymore, and they need to
Well-
switch it up somewhere,
Yeah.
or they just don't have the talent to be relying that much on your defense to score points. Like your offense has to be producing something to be able to stay a competitive school within the college football.
Yeah. And I think part of it is COVID really messed with teams.
Oh yeah.
It's very clear that COVID messed with the development of teams. Part of it is because you played a whole conference schedule, so you didn't really want to throw any of your young guys out there to develop. You're like, we need a win. You know, like every game matters. But also, I think with the transfer portal, people are just leaving left and right, where it's actually spreading the talent out more.
Which I think is
Right.
good for the sport, but
It's good. It's just part of me is still like, that's not what transferring is supposed to be for.
yeah.
You know, like I think we have. I thought the rules were too rigid to begin with, but I think we just opened the floodgates way too much, where now it's just a shit show. In all honesty, it's just, oh, I'm not going to play as a true freshman. Okay, peace, see ya. It's
Yeah,
like,
and
that's not what it was made for.
Yeah, the whole idea of going redshirt is pretty much to allow you to develop for a year, understand the program, and then like once the school, like whether that be your next year in, you're either starting or you're playing a very hands-on backup. Like that's just
Well,
how it usually goes. Like
On top of that, I mean, you look at some guys and they wait until their junior and senior year to be a playmaker, and then they are. I mean, that's the reality of it. I like how you brought up the red shirt. Red shirt is made for development. I mean, one of my, when I talk to people about it, one of my favorite stories is bringing up Sam Hubbard. I'm going to plug him because he's one of my favorite, I think one of the most underrated Ohio State players ever. Okay. And he is tearing it up for the Cincinnati Bengals. But he, from Cincinnati Moeller, he was a safety, he was a DB in high school. The dude was 6'5". So, they were like, hey, you're going to be a D end. You're too big to play anywhere else. Yeah. He redshirted his first year and gained almost 50 pounds of straight muscle. So that's what the red shirt's for. All for development. I don't understand. I think to some degree the generation is now too impatient or too soft, and it's. I know I probably sound like a boomer to some listeners. And I promise I'm not. I'm only 24, so. But it's frustrating. It's frustrating to see. Because that's not what the portal was made for. The portal was not made for just, let me just jump ship. But
yeah, I kind of agree that with the incoming generations, there is some problems with that instant gratification and getting that starting role, especially when you come from being a star at in your high school, in your region, wherever you're playing. And then coming to college and you're right the bench, dude.
It's a wake up call.
Unless if you a 5-star, I don't care what you say. I'm here to work, and no one else can touch me, and I will follow the rules and everything, and blah blah blah. You check all the boxes, which is 0.01% of people who enter into college as a 5-star athlete. I feel like.
Oh, it also depends on where you're going.
Yeah. No.
You show up to Alabama, you show up to Clemson, you show up to Ohio State. You're not playing that first year.
Yeah. No, and
you're just not.
And that's where it comes down to. You got depending on where you're going. If you're going to Ohio State, Bama, any of those big schools that has countless 4 or 5 star, talent is not an issue. People will go there just to hopefully get a shot to play. That's just what it is. And if you're gonna show up there and think I'm just gonna walk on, I'm gonna be the all-star here, then you best show up to work. And I don't think that's a thing that is coming in. I think a lot of the people who are coming in have that ego of I was a god in high school, I'm gonna be a god, but then they get to college and it's complete culture shock. You get things change, your whole schedule gets thrown around, and if you think you're just gonna walk into that and be good, some people can do it. I'm not saying no one can't, but it's a lot to take in. Just
you have to have the right mentality, and I think that's what shows is when you're at one of those programs and you're starting right away. I mean, I've yet to ever hear of Nick Saban starting a true freshman.
Yeah.
So, but also he recruits the guys that aren't going to jump ship. There are more transfers out of Alabama than we really talk about, but it's not the mentality is not, I'm going to come in and just be amazing right away. It's, I'm going to come in, I'm going to get pushed. And you know what? If I become amazing, I become amazing. They have that whole mentality of I can wait.
Yeah.
And I think Urban instilled that in Ohio State. I don't know if Ryan Day is keeping it as much, but I will say that, we still have that standard of excellence.
Yeah.
To see Travion Henderson and JTT and Jack Sawyer and Denzel Burke come out and start as true freshmen or just contribute as true freshmen, that tells you how freaking good they are.
Yeah.
I think I told you a couple weeks ago, Travion Henderson, next J.K. Dobbins. No, he's better than J.K. Dobbins. This dude's a freak, and I love J.K. Dobbins, and you know that. This dude is a freak. I can't get over it.
Just here to basically fuck up whatever you have to think about. Like this dude is just like I don't even know, like a fucking monster.
Oh, yeah.
Like clearly too. Like I don't know. It does not make physical sense to me, but he just has something in him that is just like explosive, and you cannot like stop.
He didn't even play his senior year of high school. That's what throws me off. He didn't even play last year. He's coming in and he's like, oh yeah, seasoned vet, and it's like, what? So I will say, I think watching the Akron game, it showed. I hope it goes down this path that Henderson and Teague are going to be the guys.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good combo because it's very similar to Dobbins and Teague. And we saw how the team was when that was the case. Yeah, it was disgusting. So hopefully it stays with that. Before we do dive in to the Ohio State Buckeyes and the whole debacle, if you guys haven't been following at all, it's a transfer parade from Ohio State in a position that they can't really afford too many guys to leave. Before we do that, I would just like to point out that Clemson. Okay, we get it out. Clemson is 2-2 on the year and just lost to NC State in double overtime, which means I can say it, and hopefully I don't get bit in the butt by this. Clemson is officially eliminated.
Oh yeah,
from the college football playoff, and I love it.
And I don't think even with the 2 losses, I don't. At that point, it's like
they're done. They're done.
Gone. Like the only way you get in is if pretty much the top 10 just loses out. Like if everyone has a loss on the season, then like okay,
that's what you would need. You would need everybody. So like, three conference champions would need to have a loss, and then the 4th conference champion needs to have 2 losses, and then you also have to win the ACC, which based on how you're looking ain't gonna happen. So Dabo, you can just kiss my ass and get the hell out of here. I love it. They're gonna end the season unranked. It's amazing.
They lost their golden goose.
Yeah, they did. And I think that this is going to show. Dabo, I don't think is that good of a coach. Okay, there's a couple people I work with. There's a couple people I work with down here. I was talking to them about it. They called it. They're like, NC State, we always suck against NC State. And I felt like that was like, oh, Ohio State versus Purdue and or Iowa.
Yeah.
Always suck. But they worship Dabo Swinney. I don't know what it is in this freaking state.
I mean, I don't know. Dabo's so like,
polarizing.
Like, yeah, like he's just got something about him that you're like, I like this guy. I don't know what it is, but I really like this guy.
No, it's the opposite. I really hate this guy. Okay, freaking put in Ohio State at 11 last year, and then ironically we are 11 now. But whatever. He was just calling the future. No, he pisses me off because it's the whole. He a couple years ago when they were talking about NIL deals before it even happened, he was like, "The day that college players get paid, I'm quitting." Well, Dabo, you're still making a pretty penny coaching these college players who are getting paid. So,
I didn't see any resignation letter on my desk.
Yeah,
so,
you're actually gonna quit?
I don't see anything though. Just because like he's got such a good gig, and I guarantee he was thinking that was going to be like years out and wasn't going to have to worry about it. And he's probably like, I want to be able to like have some money.
Well, he's not going to quit because he loves the limelight so much.
Yeah.
He loves the attention. That's what bothers me, and that's why I don't like PJ Fleck as well. Because if you listen to PJ Fleck at Minnesota, every answer, it starts with, "Oh, I love our guys. I love our culture." And then it comes into him. And it's like, the question wasn't about you, dumbass. It was about your starting quarterback. And if his injury is like, that's the type of questions. And it's like, we got a great culture here. Row the boat, ski you ma. I really try to do this. I really try to. And it's like, nobody asked what you tried to do. They asked you about your freaking quarterback.
We just want to know what he's going through right now after he like playing.
It's just
You gotta
it's
say
that
ugh.
yeah, it's that personality. That's why I hate PJ Fleck. I mean, I'll say I don't like PJ Fleck at all. I don't like Dabo Swinney because he's very similar to that. I think you should go watch the Clemson entrance. I don't know if you have. You know
Oh,
how
was
they
that the one where he's like, he's like, fuck boy, let's go.
It's like the freaking "This is Sparta." Like,
Yeah, it was like,
But that's the thing. It's all about him.
yeah,
That's why I don't like him. That's why if he's still coaching and my kid for some reason is good at football, okay, like stupid good at football, and it's like Clemson's calling, I'm gonna say no.
I was like, yeah,
I'd
no.
rather you go to the
Connect
team up
online.
north. I'd rather you go to the team up north than Clemson. Because at least I know you're going to get a good education at the team up north. Okay?
That's true though.
It's
Like,
very true.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's like degrees to like the whole like college football coach. Like you have the like icons based on like their actual like history book, and they don't care about outside of that. And I mean that lines up to like I always think of Jim Tressel, but I also feel like that's kind of honest.
Jimmy boy.
And then I'm like, wait, but there was a bunch of scandals that came out, and then he had to leave. So I don't know how honest Abe that is. But then I'm like, you got like Nick Saban and Urban Meyer. What's LSU?
Coach O.
Coach O, baby.
Coach O.
I
That's
think he's
like
an icon, but
I
like
love Coach O, but he's in some serious shit, dude.
Wait, what happened with Coach O?
There's a whole like the FBI is investigating LSU for like sexual assault and rape the last like 5 years. Yeah, there's like six players are not allowed on campus until further notice, like past players who are now in the NFL. Like it's some serious like crap, and apparently like it started with Les Miles, and then Les Miles took it to Kansas with him, and also had drug dealers on the team at Kansas.
That doesn't surprise me though. Like I'm not trying to toss shade, but like I don't know.
Just trying to say about Les Miles, huh?
He'll let a lot of things slide.
So under Les Miles, it's been confirmed, they have documentation that if LSU football wanted to hire a female, like if it was a student manager or anything like that, like any role, it had to be a, and I quote, hot blonde. I'm not kidding, dude. There was a whole investigation and broke last year.
Surprised me though. That's just like I like this is just like reassuring all of these thoughts I've had about Les Miles as a person. Just growing up, I've always been like, this dude just kind of seems shady.
He seems like a sleazeball. He is.
He comes off as like, oh, like I'm a great guy. Like there's nothing like wrong. But then it's like, I'm looking here at this paper and
it says otherwise.
It says very much so otherwise, my guy. Might want to reevaluate, but like, I don't know. Different coaches like help other people. Some are good, some are bad. Les Miles.
Oh man, I love how our entire intention for this episode was the focus on Ohio State, and we're talking about Arkansas. We're just freaking talking about the SEC.
Yeah, no, honestly though, but the SEC is where like all the like good like
shit happens.
Yeah.
That's where all the juicy stuff happens. You got us like, up in like
this year. Big Ten had some juicy stuff too. Considering we got like what 4 teams in the top 10.
Yeah, 2.
Oh wait, yeah, Ohio State isn't in there.
No, we're 11 now. See, that's like coming back to like what I mentioned. I think the AP pollsters are just like they don't know who to rank where.
Like BYU shouldn't even be on the chart. I'm just gonna say that. Like,
well, it's just you look at the top 10, like the top 5, I can get behind. You know, you're telling me that it's It's Alabama, Georgia. Again, like I'm not completely sold on Georgia yet. They still have time to show, who they really are. But Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, and then Penn State and Iowa, or Iowa, Penn State, whichever way it is. I mean, after 5, though, it's like Oklahoma's look like shit. Oklahoma's not number 6 in the nation. Okay, they're just undefeated. That's why they're there. On top of that,
Cats could probably not be in
like
top 10. Yes, they are undefeated, and yes, they should have they should be ranked within the top 25, I think. But they're
talking about UC.
Yeah, UC.
Yeah.
I
think they're top 15.
Yeah, I'd say top 15, but I don't think they're not a 7 seed.
No, that's the thing. I could see them.
If they were going to play any of the top 10 teams right now,
they'll get destroyed.
I'd say the only one they possibly have a chance with would be Notre Dame and Florida and Oklahoma.
They play Notre Dame next week in South Bend. See, that's the thing is like part of me is like, do I root for UC because it's Ohio? Or do I root for Notre Dame in order to put UC in their place? And in all honesty, I think Notre Dame's going to win because they have the better players.
I don't think so, though, but because Notre Dame always is like coming through at the last minute, like, 3-point victory, 7-point victory, like always like last minute like scores are like winning them games.
It's interesting.
And, I don't
because. Yeah, and I completely agree with what you're saying.
They have more talent, though, for sure. I think
they definitely have more talent, and I really like Marcus Freeman as their D coordinator, former UC coordinator and former Ohio State All-American linebacker. James Laurinaitis is his best friend, but I like what he's doing with them, and it pains me to say that because it's Notre Dame. But like what you point out, it's always in the end. It's like in the fourth quarter. It's like, we're gonna sneak away with a victory, or we're finally gonna wake up in the fourth. And I feel like both teams have been like that. The Indiana UC game, Indiana's down this year. I don't care what people say. Yeah. They're down. Ohio State's probably, because it's at Indiana, Ohio State's gonna struggle for the first 3 quarters against them. That's what's gonna happen. But Indiana's down this year, and UC just had opportunistic turnovers in the second half that let them kind of pull away. And then if you're looking at the Wisconsin Notre Dame game from this past weekend, the whole time I was sitting there, I was like, wow, this is like a Big Ten West game. Notre Dame, you should just join the freaking Big Ten. But it was just Wisconsin literally fell apart in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That's all it was. Really, it was not a blowout,
Notre Dame is one of those teams where like they'll always get the rap for being a good team. They'll always be at least a semi-decent team, I think. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think they'll have too many like losing seasons or anything like that. But they're always by like I'm gonna win the game, but I'm just gonna barely win the game.
Yes. It's so annoying. It's so annoying because they're not legit. Like that's the thing. Because if they go up against Georgia, if they go up typically against Clemson, I know last year they kind of split because Notre Dame won in the regular season, but then Clemson won in the ACC championship. But typically, if they play in Oklahoma, a Clemson, a Georgia, an Ohio State, and LSU, like they're gonna lose.
Yeah,
that's just what happens. So it's just Notre Dame's very frustrating. So I think that game will be very interesting.
Yeah.
Because either it's going to be Notre Dame hangs their hat on like, see, we're still Notre Dame, or UC's going to be like, we're legit.
We're legit, motherfucker.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I don't think that's going to be a number 7 versus number 9 matchup.
Yeah.
Notre Dame's not number 9 in the nation. They're not. They've won no game. Like, you were number 12 and you beat number 19 by what ended up being like 30 points because of a couple pick sixes in the fourth quarter. The Wisconsin quarterback threw, if I saw correctly, 4 interceptions.
Yeah,
that would do it. I hope you win.
If they're throwing that many, because I think was it for the whole second half or just fourth quarter?
I think it was the whole game, but I think that all happened in the second half.
Yeah, like I don't know like what he was thinking, or like what was going through his
Someone paid him at halftime.
Yeah,
Damn Irish.
agreement.
The little leprechaun. That's the thing. Like you're number 12, and you beat 19 the way you did because of pick six. Like, you don't deserve to go to number 9.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand any. And like, okay, Florida moved up from like Florida and Ohio State swapped, and it was, oh, Florida, you beat a bad Tennessee team by 13. Yeah,
like,
go
okay,
ahead.
that's cool. I don't think they should move up.
Like, I don't think you should replace a team that won by 50 when they were only supposed to win by 30. Like,
yeah, like,
I think the AP is smoking some strong ass shit right now.
yeah, no, I'd agree with that because, like, okay, BYU 13. Why? Does not make sense. The only reason they're here is because, we had a quarterback last year that was a dark horse in the Heisman race, but like he wasn't gonna win ever.
Oh, yeah,
like,
how's he doing in the NFL?
Wait, he made it to the NFL?
Yeah, we're talking about Zach Wilson. What did I call him the first time?
I don't even know his
Matt
name.
Wilson. I
don't even know.
That's Wilson. That's the dude who looks like if you made a High School Musical for football, he'd be playing like the Troy Bolton character. That's the dude.
Like,
he threw 3 interceptions. No, he threw 2 weeks ago. The only storyline of week 2 for NFL for those people that care. In the first half, at halftime, he had as many completions as he did interceptions.
He's pretty good, right? Yeah.
He's definitely number 2 overall.
Like,
Get out of here.
Like, okay, first off, BYU doesn't play anybody.
But now they're in the Big 12?
They're in the Big 12. They're going to be bottom of the Big 12.
They're in the Big 12 without Oklahoma and Texas.
Yeah.
Let's just note that.
So they're the bottom dog now. Texas was going to be bottom dog with them, but like, what's going on in Texas? Oh, you want to go to the SEC? You want to be the lower dog? Like, what are you trying to do here?
Horns down.
Huck 'em horns
down. Horns down. Throw the flag. 15 yards. Taunting.
What?
I love it. I just... Oh my gosh. I think the ranking, with all the good games to come, we'll see how they kind of make sense. But I keep telling myself, AP means jack shit because we have the college football playoff. Like,
yeah,
the AP doesn't mean anything anymore.
It's like, okay, Texas A&M 3-1 is a 15 rank compared to Coastal Carolina, which I can understand.
They literally just swapped A&M and Arkansas. Because Arkansas went from 16 to 8, and A&M went from 7 to 15.
Yeah, but A&M, okay, Michigan State's 4-0.
I think Michigan State's good this year.
State's 4-0.
Michigan State's looking like Michigan State. Like, yeah, they're looking Sparty's scaring me. Sparty is scaring me, people.
But yeah, we have Florida and Ohio State 10 and 11. Like, that makes no sense. Like, bring up Michigan at 4-0. As much as that pains me to say, Michigan and Michigan State need pulled up. Oklahoma State could probably...
Well, no, I'd hit the pause. I would hit the pause on that because either Michigan is slightly overranked because they only beat Rutgers by 7. Or we're not giving Rutgers enough credit. I think that might be what it is. I think that might be what it is because
it's been kind of hot recently. Like,
it was 20-0 Michigan at halftime against Rutgers. It was 20-0.
Yeah,
they scored 0 points in the second half because Rutgers was that good defensively.
Oh, jeez!
Bring back Shiano. I want Shiano back. I want him to be our D coordinator. Or just, you know what? Fickle. Come here.
Hey,
promise.
Back, please. You'd save us a lot. Okay, but the one complaint I have about Rutgers, though, is their 10-point victory over Syracuse.
Yeah.
Syracuse is bottom dog here. But you'll blow out Temple 61-14.
Which Temple like almost won the American 2 years ago, which I'm really confused about, like how they just nosedive real quick.
Yeah. And
like,
then
I don't. I'm
Detroit,
so
Delaware
confused.
too, which I kind of figured.
FCS, yeah, you should.
And then a 7-point loss to Michigan, which isn't bad. But next week you got Ohio State. Next week,
but it's at Rutgers, dude. That's a trap game. That's
true.
A freaking trap game.
Oh wait, and Ohio State's garbage this year. No,
let's just go right into that then. Okay, we think that's a trap game because I think we both agree Rutgers is slightly better than people are saying. They're not going to put up a bunch of points, but they're going to stop you. They're going to make you earn it. But you're talking about an Ohio State team who is not even close to expectations, not even playing to their potential, not even close. But also, we have a starting quarterback who came out and said that he has a little boo-boo on his shoulder. Ladies and gentlemen, is this the new Purdue game? are we gonna lose the Rutgers?
I don't want to say.
But that could happen. That's the scary thing. You look at how Rutgers is playing.
I think we're better off, honestly.
Yeah.
I think as Ohio State, I think we are better off swapping it up.
Yeah.
We need that dual threat. That's what we need.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because you mentioned Clemson. I wanted to bring this up. And I just completely forgot because we went down the Arkansas rabbit hole. That's I'm telling you, listeners, right now, that's going to come up this entire season. We're going to be talking about Arkansas now. Pig Suey, right? Ooh, Pig Suey. Okay, I'm done. I'm done for the night with Arkansas.
Gonna get Razorback jerseys.
Dude, I just think of the Blind Side scene where he's getting recruited by all the SEC teams. And he's like, you got lions and tigers. Everyone's got lions and tigers, but there's only one Razorback. One Razorback. I'm just, man.
Lou Holtz? Did he do that? No.
No, I think Lou Holtz was. I think he was the South Carolina at that point.
Yeah, I don't remember, but he was like,
he wasn't the Razorback. But freaking Lou Holtz spitting everywhere.
Lou Holtz so much.
We get him out of retirement.
Yes.
But no, oh friggin' gotta get off this Arkansas shit. You mentioned Clemson with the new quarterback isn't great. I think the dual threat is the big thing. Like Trevor Lawrence, he was a pocket passer, but he had the ability to run. Yeah. You could do read option with him. Justin Fields is the same way.
The field open and no receiver.
Oh, you're screwed.
Done. You're done. That's the first down.
Justin Fields was the same way.
Yeah.
So, and Tua was similar. Tua was a little. In that regard, Jalen Hurts was better than Tua. Mac Jones was just, he had really good receivers.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know if Kyle McCord is more, watching the game, I don't know if he's more mobile than CJ Stroud. I think if we're talking about a true dual threat, then it's Jack Miller.
Yeah. I agree with that, but, I also don't think CJ's the way to go.
Well, I don't think CJ's the way to go when what we're hearing right now is, you're not 100% with your shoulder, so it's inhibiting you from throwing correctly.
Yeah, and so
why are you out there?
He shouldn't be out there. He needs to either rest that, get that taken care of before he's out on the field. You're I'm just gonna say it now. As much as people are hyping you up to be the next great Ohio State quarterback,
you don't look like it.
You are not. You don't. Fields. I'm sorry.
No. Well, again, we have to put out there, there's not going to be another Justin Fields.
Yeah, no.
Like that dude is just stupid good.
Yeah.
By far, I know he didn't win the Heisman. I know Troy Smith won the Heisman. But in my day and age, Justin Fields is the best quarterback I've seen Ohio State ever have. And Troy Smith was electrifying.
The era of like the dual threat was just starting to kind of be utilized.
So he was so mesmerized. Like watching him play, it was like, holy crap. And then you had Terrell Pryor. I mean, honestly, a bunch of people shit on Ohio State quarterbacks like, oh, they don't get to the league. Okay, let's look at, is there really anybody in the league where it's like, oh, all these players are from one school? And before all the Alabama fans say, oh, we got 3 of them. Okay, if you're claiming Jalen Hurts, then I'm claiming Joe Burrow. So you know what? Go stick it where the sun don't shine, because that means I got Joe Burrow and Justin Fields. So, but like other than like this new wave, you know, Aaron Rodgers went to Cal. Like Tony Romo went to freaking Wisconsin Whitewater. I'm pretty sure. Like
Ben Roethlisberger went to Miami of Ohio. Like
if you say, oh well, Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray, okay, OU, you know, Oklahoma,
but like that, yeah, okay, you got 2 like all-star OU players. Granted, like those are 2 like household names. I feel like you're gonna hear those names, but like after like 2 or 3 years in the NFL, no one gives a shit where you went to college.
Well, but what I'm pointing out is like, okay, you can say like, oh, these teams, but there's 32 teams, and there's not like 10 quarterbacks from one team.
Yeah.
You know? But if you just look at collegiately, the quarterbacks that came through Ohio State were pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I mean, Troy Smith, and then you went to Terrell Pryor, even though he had off the field issues with Tattoo Gate. He was still a great player. Braxton Miller, JT Barrett, you can throw Cardell Jones in there. And then you got Dwayne, and then Justin Fields. Like
they've all went to the league, and you've seen them take snaps.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? That just made me think. Ben Roethlisberger is going to tear his elbow this year, so Ohio State's going to have 3 starting quarterbacks: Joe Burrow, Dwayne Haskins, and Justin Fields. So Alabama fans, suck it. Let's go.
Yeah. Mac Jones, what's he going to do for you guys?
Okay, I will say this: Mac Jones cracks me up. Have you not seen his press conference?
Which one?
His press conference from this past weekend.
No.
He straight up, 2 reporters asked him a question at the same time. So confused, and he looked at him and said, "Rock, paper, scissors," to see who asked. The dude, he just cracks. He's so likable. Like, and I've never said that about an Alabama team before, but if you look at last year's team, they're so freaking likable. Najee Harris, Mac Jones, Devontae Smith, like, they're likable guys, which is so weird for Alabama to have.
Yeah.
Is Nick Saban getting soft?
Not even that. I don't even think it's so much like likable. I think they've always been likable, but it's more, they have more standout personalities. And I think the press is kind of getting opened up to like talking more to like players than like previously. Cause yeah, you might get a couple interviews with like, oh, hey, you're the MVP of the game. What did you do? Where now I feel like you're seeing a lot more interviews from like more than just like the MVP of the game. You're seeing it from like linebackers, defensive end.
Yeah.
Like everyone's like getting an interview almost at this. Well, not everyone, but like
yeah, I got you. That's fair.
Some kind of like base to like put themselves out there, and I mean that's great. I kind of like that because it allows you to become more like familiarized with the team. Like with Mac Jones, like with that interview, that basically opens him up to like, hey, here's a bunch of fans coming in saying, dude, that was a funny interview. I liked it. Like, who do you play for? And then like that's getting them hooked on that, which I think is great. But I don't think that, you know, some people should get that kind of attention.
Oh man,
but it depends on like, you know, who the like player is. Like,
yeah,
if it's like, I'm okay. One quick thing, real quick, like the OBJ and like all of the like people who are very oh my God, I'm the number one in the league. Like, you're really going to tell me how to do this? Like,
yeah, the prima donnas.
Yes. Like,
the LSU players. Oh.
Shut that. I think we did. Alex, what's up, dude?
Oh my gosh. No,
Like,
I get what you're saying.
But, like, there are players that I think take it to another step where it's too much. The prima donnas, it's like, it just gets too much. There's too much bullshit that they get caught up in. Oh, I have to wear this helmet. Oh, man, I only wear this helmet to play football. It's like, dude.
You calling out Antonio Brown? Like, what's going on here?
I'm calling out multiple players. I'm not specifically reaching out to one right now.
But I get what you're saying. Since we have successfully derailed our conversation again, circling back to the shit show that is Ohio State football. They are currently 11th. They just beat Akron, if I remember correctly, 59-7. Was it 52-7? I don't know. They won by like 50 points, people. That's all that you need to know. Oh my God, yeah. Yeah. No. So there have been some interesting scenarios. Not really scenarios, but some developing stories within the Ohio State football team. So if you guys don't know, 2 linebackers have now left the team. So senior Dallas Gant has entered the transfer portal, and senior Kayvon Pope quit in the middle of the game against Akron, but was dismissed today. So today is Monday, September 27th. So he threw a little hissy fit on the sideline after not being subbed in. Threw his gloves into the stands and had to be escorted off the field by team personnel. So that is where Ohio State is at.
In the house. Prima donna.
Oh my, yes.
Like, dude, you don't need to be that extra. Like,
well,
I don't know what's going on, like, as far as like what they're doing as far as linebackers, because I know they're trying to change some things up and figure out who they want out there, who they want to basically take over. And I like, if you're getting upset because I'm not out there more often, then like there's a reason you're not out there more often. So
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Like, the whole thing with Kayvon Pope is now, okay, I'll hit Dallas Gant real quick. I hate the loss of Dallas Gant.
Same.
Personally, I absolutely hate that. He was, said to be a leader in the locker room, and he was recruited for the same reason that Pete Werner was recruited, to be that true hybrid bullet position.
Yeah.
And now you're letting somebody that was literally made for the role just walk away. I think that's a mistake. I still have disagreements with what the defensive coaching staff is doing. I think we're going down a dangerous rabbit hole. Ronnie Hickman got a pick 6, but Ronnie Hickman looked a whole lot better playing safety this past week than the bullet.
Yeah.
So Craig Young looked great in the bullet at times. And I think that's what Dallas Gant and Craig Young were both recruited for. But you're letting Dallas Gant walk away. I think that's stupid. Kayvon Pope, I don't have an issue with.
Yeah.
Because there were tweets a couple years ago, cryptid tweets about him potentially transferring back home to Virginia Tech or Virginia. The dude has always been a prima donna. And the fact that they went out and tried to get Henry To'oTo'o from Tennessee, who's now at Alabama, try to get him or Haskell Garrett's cousin, I don't even want to try to say his name, the transfer from USC, who's now on the team. Since they went out to try to get that, clearly the development of a linebacker was not working out.
Yeah.
So at some point you have to look in the mirror and be like, I have not done A, B, and C in order to get on the field. I mean, in all honesty, Tommy Eichenberg he's having a freaking great year. I mean, I don't like some people are hating on him. I think him and Cody Simon are unbelievable. Taraja Mitchell, I'll always back because I thought he was great from the start.
Yeah.
But those three are having a great year. I think Dallas Gant would help you significantly. Craig Young is hopefully he gets more of a role. You hate to see Josh Proctor go out, but if that forces Ronnie Hickman up top, Craig Young is in that role. So that helps. But it's too crowded, especially when you have talented linebackers like Reed Carrico and Mitchell Melton. He redshirted last year, and he's a massive dude. So, I mean, he's going to play in the middle because he's so big, or he's going to be up like a stand-up rusher, which we don't really do anymore. But then you have Gabe Powers and CJ Hicks coming in. Like, the writing's on the wall, dude. Kayvon Pope, like, you should have probably transferred last year.
Yeah.
Being completely honest.
It's your senior year and you're going to transfer. That just looks so bad for you. Like, yeah, you're going to get another season, right? He
gets 2 because he's a senior in the classroom, but he redshirted his freshman year, and because he has COVID from last year, he gets 2 more years of eligibility. But
I don't
my issue
league though, because he's still got the if you're gonna act out like that in the middle of a game,
I'm not offering him.
I'm not picking you up. I just that makes no sense.
That's
for me as a GM to reach out to someone who's gonna just bring more drama to the field. That's not something that you want unless if you can prove it. And obviously, since you weren't going in, there's something that wasn't being proven to make you go in. So,
but also like you said, you don't want that cancer in your culture. Like every FBS school is probably, unless it's a small, every Power 5 school, I'll limit it a little bit. Every Power 5 school is probably looking at it and be like, no, I don't want attitude. I don't want your cancer. Like clearly something's not right here. But the fact that you go to sub in, and this is what confused me a little bit, is the report was he went to sub in on a sub package. So they're playing like nickel or dime or whatever, 3rd and long. And so he went to sub in, and Taraja Mitchell waved him off. Okay, if he's trying to sub in and Mitchell says no, last time I checked, the subs should be done by coaches.
Yeah.
So are we sub? Is that why there's so much rotation? Is it everyone's just let's just sub? Is that part of the issue here? But
something you shouldn't have. You want to have fresh legs on the field, but you
shouldn't let your players sub in and out whenever they want. And if that's the case, that's an issue for another day that we can talk about.
Yeah, that's a bigger, that's a podcast right there.
Yeah, but he tries to sub in, gets waved off, and then just goes ballistic. And then the fact that this was right before halftime, and then at halftime he tweets, good luck to my brothers, but F Ohio State.
That's that right there. That was the nail in the coffin.
Oh yeah.
If you're going anywhere, you're literally getting picked up as a last chance resort for a school. And I'm saying the team is 3 injuries on the linebacker position, and they need to be they need someone ASAP. He might get picked up because they're okay, he can play and he's better than not having anyone to fill in. Mm-hmm. But there is going to be so much drama with it. And if he can fix that drama and gets picked up, that's great. But you gotta keep your shit in check when you're on the field. You
can't act. Yeah, you can't act like a 5-year-old.
Yeah,
that's the thing. He threw a temper tantrum, and I see a bunch of people everybody has a bad day. I'm this is a grown ass man who has a free education. Don't be making excuses for him. It's unacceptable.
There's so many worse things that could be going on in someone's life than I'm not.
Then you're not playing.
I'm not starting at a kid's game and I'm in my 20s. like as much as like I love watching like college sports and stuff, it is just like a kid's game at the end of the day that we put a shit ton of hype around, which I love. Because like you get the camaraderie with it, like oh you're a Ohio State fan, oh you're a Penn State fan, and it's honestly just super
the fandom culture is amazing. But I will say I don't like that they're like actually kids to us now.
Yeah,
I don't like that I'm older than all of them. It makes me feel weird.
Yeah, like
but now I can actually say, oh, that kid's pretty good. Like I can say,
yeah, that kid's doing pretty great. You're like 2 years younger than me, but you're doing pretty slapperoo there, youngster.
2 years younger than me, will make a shit more money than me, stronger, faster.
It's like, can I borrow some of those jeans, please? Let me stem cell from you real quick.
But that is the fire dumpster that is Ohio State at this current moment. So I mean, we'll see if they can right the ship. Against Rutgers, I think, as we said, that could easily be a trap game with it being in Pawtuckaway or whatever, whatever New Jersey it is.
Piscataway or whatever.
I was close. I know it was put and away at the end. Wait, hey, we actually we still have a high school. Someone with a high school is still playing for them.
Wait, who?
Brandon Bordner.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I just remember that.
Right?
I think he's a starting O lineman.
See here.
He started his career as a D lineman, but I'm pretty sure he's an O lineman now. I think he changed his number. I'm pretty sure he's number 69, which cracks me up. Because that would be him.
Oh shit! You're right. Wait, no.
Let's go.
He's 73. I know he did switch to 69. His old number was 73.
Let's go. Hilliard Bradley represent.
We out here.
Love it. I love it.
And then we have someone at Purdue too.
Yes, good old Corey.
Yeah, Corey
Taylor. Yeah, because I remember that last year because Rutgers and Purdue played each other, so they got a photo after the game. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting what they do up in New Jersey. But I think to wrap it up, what I want to touch on real quick, still staying adjacent to Ohio State, Justin Fields.
Dude,
his first. Oh man, you said you want to talk about the Brownies, so we'll just talk about the Brownies and Bears to wrap it up. But oh man, first NFL start, right? Against the Browns defense. Yeah. I don't know if
didn't do too hot. No BS. But
I don't know if that was his fault though. That's the thing.
You can't put all of it on there. But like I will say, like looking at it on paper, it doesn't look the hottest.
I was looking at this today.
I wanted the Browns to win, So.
Well, yeah. So you're fine. But okay, I would have never had him do his first start against the Browns.
Yeah.
Like, let's just for those of you who forgot, Myles Garrett, or should I say Myles helmet swinging Garrett. He's still there, and who'd they go get in free agency? Clowney, this dude called Jadeveon Clowney. Those are their ends. Yeah, no, thank you. Secondary, stupid good, and they just added Greg Newsome from Northwestern.
Yeah,
Big Ten DB of the year. Like
they're looking nasty.
They should have beat the Chiefs. Okay, can we just acknowledge that the Chiefs should have?
I don't know.
The Chiefs.
I don't know. I think the Browns are gonna beat the Chiefs.
I said they should have.
Yeah.
The Chiefs should be 0-3. Can we acknowledge that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're literally just like skimming by right now.
I'm 1-2.
I
They
mean,
lost yesterday.
not necessarily like skimming by, but like they're not.
Skimmed by the Browns. That's it.
Yeah.
But they should be 0-3. Okay.
I'm salty.
The Browns should be 3-0, and the Chiefs should be 0-3. But if Andy Dalton's healthy, Justin Fields isn't starting against the Browns, because you don't throw him out there. That was the whole thing, is we're not going to throw him out against the Rams to start the season. I don't blame you. The Rams are stupid good.
Yeah.
You don't want to throw him out against the Browns. So part of me is like, you have this dude called Nick Foles. Why didn't you start him? But unfortunately down here, I didn't get to watch any of it because we just didn't have, it wasn't on the local channel. We got the good old Washington football team, the AKA the Redskins.
WTF. I mean, WF.
I love it. But I mean, from what I've seen and what I've heard, the entire game plan for the Bears, was dog shit.
Yeah, no, and that's what I was watching the game. Granted, I was at work and just kind of getting glimpses of it. But a lot of what I was hearing was that basically with Justin Fields being put in at the quarterback position, the Bears had to basically reset up their whole offensive line and how they go into the game, just because they don't typically have a dual threat quarterback that's moving around in the pocket. So they have to be like, it's going to be a learning curve for the Bears. I think the dual threat does open up the Bears' offense a lot, though.
Oh, absolutely.
If you have to have the right personnel on the line to be able to pull that off. And if that's the case, then the Bears are back on top. And I don't think it's going to be the graveyard anymore because.
Yeah. I mean, from everything I heard, it was the entire preseason was Jacksonville, Cincinnati, and Chicago have terrible offensive lines. So will Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, and Justin Fields be able to survive?
Yeah.
Will they live to see another day? And, I hope that something like last year doesn't happen. Something like what happened to Joe Burrow last year does not happen to either one of them. But it's just, from what I've heard, the offensive line was terrible. You're going up against a good defense. You get sacked 9 times. 9
Okay, but that
times.
So let's get nasty with it.
Yes, but Myles Garrett had 4.5. He had half of them.
Dude was a dog.
That's the issue. And so some people who are Ohio State haters and Justin Fields haters are going to be like, he's got to learn. He's a freaking rookie.
Yeah, he's getting thrown into the scenario he was thrown into.
That situation,
he's going against 2 of the top ends, and I think the league, just because Clowney's a dog, and then
he had a down year last year, but he's still stupid good.
But he's just freaking beast. With the secondary and everything that the Browns have right now, Myles Garrett he's at the point where he's going to thrive. He has the defense behind him to be I'm going to just tear this offensive line apart. So putting Justin Fields in there is definitely very intimidating, just because you got 2 of the bigger defensive ends running at you, and also you don't have anyone to get the ball to, considering he threw for 68 yards.
He had total offense of 47.
Yeah.
But also, you pointed out
on him though. I don't think it's all Justin Fields.
No, and that's what I was going to point.
Offensive line has to adjust to him being back there, and they can't just be okay, this is how we've been playing. But that was when they have a pocket passer, where now it's we got a dual threat back here. We got to be able to be mobile with him. And I was seeing a lot of not necessarily communication, but Fields is trying to push the pocket one way, and the line is just trying to keep the pocket where it's at. And so
and that comes down to scheme and coaching. Yeah, and that's the reality of it. Is I understand it's hard. I've never been asked to do that, but I know it's hard. On top of that, you're in the National Football League.
Yeah.
Your job as a coach in the NFL is to be able to make adjustments like that. Your job as an offensive lineman in the NFL is to be able to adjust like that. But then also the fact that it looks so bad and the excuse is, oh, well, his play style is a little different than Andy's. That tells me that you never implemented any of his play style into the playbook.
Yeah, they were definitely riding on Andy Dalton being healthy all year, not getting injured, and being able to play all year to have Justin watch. But
it just kind of seems like Mitch Trubisky part 2, where, Mitch Trubisky, he's not a bad quarterback. And I guess part of me is I kind of root for him because he's an Ohio kid. Yeah. I do think all the social distancing jokes were hilarious. If you forget how far 6 feet is, just think about where a Bears receiver is and where Trubisky's throw ended up. But he was successful when they were doing read option, when they were, doing
he's
what
quarterback though.
They were good when Nagy was like, you know what, I'm going to cater to my quarterback. And then it was, no, you have to cater to, you have to change everything that you do good and come to my system. And then we saw how Trubisky failed. And if Nagy's about to do this with Justin Fields, we're going to have an issue. And in all honesty, from what I've seen with what Nagy did to Trubisky, how he, I don't know what the other undeveloped him is how he undeveloped him, and how he basically just said, oh, this week is an open competition between Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, and Justin Fields. And Matt Nagy, you have no idea what the hell you're doing, and you should be fired. You should have been fired last year. That's the truth.
He's just not a good fit. He doesn't know where to take. He doesn't know how to make those adjustments that he needs to be making with the
regardless of quarterback.
Yeah, you should have a plan going into every game with the not necessarily the intent of starters getting hurt, but having a fallback in case if something does happen, or maybe the other team is oh, let's plan on them running the ball more with Fields in the quarterback position. That shuts down the read option for Fields and being able to be more free with the ball and able to run it. And it kind of forces him just to be a passer, which is makes it easier on the defensive backs. But there's not there once he got in as quarterback, it sounds because the offensive line was oh, well, yeah, it's different. Yeah, it's going to be different, but you are in the NFL, you got to be able to kind of switch it up. But granted, I don't think the Bears have had really a dual threat quarterback really ever.
Trubisky, but that's about it. Other than that, it's been pretty. Jay Cutler was their quarterback for ever.
Yeah,
Jay Cutler's not running anywhere.
Yeah, he's I don't know. His running style reminds me of Big Ben, but
oh Lord,
just a little guy doing it.
Just a slightly smaller guy.
It's just
it'll be interesting. I say we're gonna have to keep our eyes on that whole situation, because it's just, I understand that quarterbacks are always blown out of proportion with how good they are, right?
Yeah.
Coming out, but Justin Fields, and I think Urban Meyer, even though he signed whatever year contract, he's always under evaluation because Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields are that good.
Yeah.
They are legitimately that good that if you waste it, I think it's more embarrassing the fact that your game plan netted you 47 total yards. Cleveland's good.
Yeah.
They're not that good. Let's be real. You should have at least 150 yards of total offense.
The Browns are dogs, and yes, their defense is pretty stacked, but it's not to the point where you can't get any offense going. You're still should be putting up a decent 14 points or something like that. It shouldn't be a complete blowout, but it also shouldn't be super. It should be kind of close. Like,
Yeah.
especially if you're going to show that, like, you're here to play. Here, we have talent. And, like, I think the Bears do have a decent amount of talent, but it's just being able
Yes, the NFL.
around. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's the top dogs, but
I mean, Allen Robinson, David Montgomery, those are not bad guys. That is a great wide receiver and a really good running back.
And like those are like options right there. So like you're set off there. I think right now it's just basically setting up the offense to have Fields back there, because that's what they're going to be doing this week, is just setting up the offense, trying to figure out how they're going to produce yards, because having it, 47 total yards, like, dude, that is not on the player side there.
That is play calling, scheme. That's straight coaching.
That's like, granted, some of that is going to be on player, like as far as like, oh, like this dude kept missing his blocks, like some of that's but like 47 yards, my dude.
Like, your game plan only netted that.
Like you are in the NFL, you need to be making changes. Like you can't just try and keep forcing things.
You're getting paid millions. You're getting paid millions.
Gotta change it up.
Yeah. So, with that being said, I think we covered Arkansas more than we wanted to, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. My last note, though, I have two things I'll say before we get out of here. Matt Nagy will be fired.
Agreed.
Before the end of the year. And Aaron Rodgers is a bad man. Go Pack, let's go.
He's a bad mamma jamma, baby.
He's a bad man. 36 seconds is too many seconds.
Too much time. Come on.
No.
All right, guys. I think we're going to close it out there. Thanks for tuning in this week. You guys might be getting a surprise second episode this week, so stay tuned. But thanks for checking in. Hopefully you like what you heard. Leave us a comment, subscribe. Catch you guys next week. See ya.